What? What is happening? Where have you been? Where have I been? Where have you been? Where have you been? So much has happened. So much has happened in the past 9 months. And no, I didn't have a kid. Because I already got two. Anyway, yeah, so much has happened. We moved. We not only did we get a Wrangler 4xe, as I'm sure you know by my latest short, which was like a million years ago, but then we went back and got another Wrangler 4xe, which is what I'm in now, my own personal Wrangler 4xe. I have done so much CBA, cost benefit analysis. I ran through the numbers so much. So here's what it all boiled down to. At the end of the day, I miss my Wrangler. If I can find a stock video of my old Wrangler that I had a couple of Jurassic Park goodies on, I will put that up, show you just what I was working with. I miss my Wrangler so much, but there was two things. I had a 2007 four-door unlimited Jeep Wrangler. That's what the unlimited means after 2007, by the way. Anyway, and I had two problems with it. Number one, the power. The first iterations of the four-door Wrangler had a 3.8 liter V6, which on paper made 202 horsepower at the crank. In the real world, with 35-inch tall tires, or 33s even, it made closer to about 110. And I'm not even kidding. I seriously think it was dynoed, a fresh done. One that didn't have 250,000 miles ran a dyno test, and that thing was putting like 118. I believe it is 118 or 113. So anyway, so it was not the powerhouse that I would hope it would be. I'm sure it was adequate until you start adding on all that extra weight with tires and winches and bumpers and people and gear and oh my. So it was kind of weird. Anyway, getting off track. So I had that. I loved it to death except for the power, and then of course the efficiency. If I got anything, and now mind you, I just had standard 35. No, I didn't have 35. I just had standard 33s, I believe it was. 285, 70, 17s, I think it was. I can't really remember. I'm sorry. Anyway, so it was just sitting there. It was just sitting in the driveway. I wasn't using it all that much because I got a free Toyota Camry hybrid that needed a new battery. And this is where it all began. This Toyota Camry needed one of the mini cells replaced. Now I know a lot of people are like a big no-no. You don't want to. You got to get them balanced and all that stuff like that. But for about a year, all I did was replace two modules at the tune of like $38. And of course, I put it in myself. I figured out how it worked, and I put it in myself. I was happy. $38 plus, you know, registration and all that crap like that, and then $50 for the tow dolly that I rented from U-Haul. I had a car. It was a nice running car. The air conditioning worked. The heat worked. Everything was cool with it. I am just not a sedan person. You know, I love the Honda Clarity. I cannot do sedans. I can't do cars. I can't do low to the ground. I can't do non-all-wheel drive. I just can't do it. I had the Camry for a while, and then that got me thinking, what if I can find a cheaper Prius, but a Prius V? The regular Prius hatchback I could not fit into. So the regular Prius was a no-go. The Prius V, however, is a completely different animal when it comes to its sheet metal. Drivetrain and running gear and all that stuff like that, except for maybe something different with the planetary gear set and the transmission or power split device. Maybe different, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. But it is, physically, it is a much larger vehicle. And unfortunately, your fuel economy does take a little bit of a hit. Not a terrible one. You still get over 40 miles to the gallon if you're light-footed. So I sold the Camry and got a Prius V, because it is a lot bigger. I did a cost-benefit analysis. I haven't sold the Wrangler yet, I don't think. What did I? So I did a cost-benefit analysis. Gas was like $2 a gallon at this point, if you can remember, in 2020, for a short stint there, or less. I was still putting in about $400 in gas, just in gas in my Wrangler, because I was getting gas like every week, if not more than once a week. I was doing a lot of driving. I had the cheapest insurance you can get. I've been with my insurance company for a while, so my insurance wasn't anything, so I'm not even going to add that in the cost-benefit analysis. So adding it up, driving my Wrangler that I already own and have the cheapest insurance that you can buy on, it still was pretty crappy. I was spending $400 a month just on gas alone. Something's got to change, right? Something has got to change. Okay, sorry about that. My phone gets too hot when it's trying to record. So what has been a tenth of a second for you has been a few hours for me. Anyway, I'm home now, and see, this is the first 4xe that we purchased. This is brand new, and yeah, I'll get into that later. So anyway, I did a cost-benefit analysis, and I was able to purchase a Toyota Prius V. Which is the bigger version. And the payments for that car, and it got phenomenal gas mileage. So the payment for that car, the insurance for that car, and of course the gas for that car ended up being less than $400 a month. So it would make sense, especially if I keep it for a little while, it would make the most sense to drive that around as a daily. And I just felt terrible to see my Wrangler just sitting there. So we ended up selling the JK, which was absolutely just gut-wrenching. I'll tell you that. So anyway, after having the Prius V for a while, I ended up putting a lithium polymer battery inside of it, and it did increase the fuel economy, and it was really cool. I ended up getting it for free. An anonymous person paid me to make a video of me installing that battery in my car. So they paid me the price of the battery. They just bought the battery for me, and I was able to just throw it in, and that was that. So that was cool. The battery gave you better performance, all that good stuff. I'm sure you've seen the video. So anyway, fast forward. I was taking a trip in the Prius and took a short little trip to San Diego. And the route that we took has these low spots for water to travel through. And of course, when we were coming back, we had this crazy rainstorm that pretty much flooded these little spots. When I mean flooded, I mean like maybe 2 to 3 inches of water. That may or may not have been, detrimental to the Prius. I don't know, because it rode pretty low. It wasn't all-wheel drive. You can pretty much drive on the sand around these water parts, but it was not ideal. It was not ideal, and there were spots that were so flooded that, people driving past us would literally put water all over the windshield. It was not a fun ride. So at that point, I'm thinking, I need something that's still good on gas, but it's not too big of an impact to my wallet, and I wanted to be an SUV. I wanted to higher off the ground. So I looked at Toyota Highlander hybrids. I've always had a soft spot for them, but I just really couldn't put my foot down in it because I didn't like how that motor is sitting in there. Maintenance wise, I'm a maintenance guy, and general maintenance on that motor, for example, it doesn't have a timing belt. I had the generation that had a timing chain, so at least that's not something I have to worry about every whatever interval. But spark plugs, things like that. It's just not a vehicle that I saw myself keeping for a long time, even when I first got it. Love the heck out of it. 7-row seating. I got seat brackets so that I'm not all up in the dash. It performed great until it got to the nitty-gritty stuff, to where I went to this place that's not too far away from my house that is not even an off-road course. It's just a spot that has a few low dips and couldn't make it over it. Could not make it over it. that kind of made me fall out of love with it. I was like, man, this isn't. I understand that that's not what it's made for. It's made to have like slippery traction, like snow and rain and things like that. And so I'm not faulting it. I thought it would have been at least a little bit better at that. So finally, I had to put my foot down. And since I knew I was going to buy a Wrangler anyway, why not make it a 4xe? Found one used, and I've been loving it ever since. I've already put 7,000 miles on it, and I've only had it a couple of months now, and not even 2 months, and I've already put 7,500 miles on it. And I gotta say, just for reference, I went to that spot again. I was able to drive that Wrangler in 2-wheel drive. Didn't even have to put it in 4-wheel drive. Through that same spot where the Highlander got stuck, I was able to not only drive through it, I went back around and drove into it, stopped, and then continued driving again, and still had no issue. So it's just one of those things. What the problem was, the rear motor on that Toyota Highlander just didn't have enough strength, didn't have enough power to push it through. So yeah, ended up buying a second Wrangler 4xe, got a level 2 charger, and it's just been a blast. I'm usually getting about 1,500 to 2,200 miles on a full tank of gas and a full battery charge. Don't need any special equipment. It already comes with a level 1 charger, which is super slow. It's perfect for overnight, but if you want something quick or whatever, you can get a level 2 charger, and that's what I personally use. My wife's Jeep, we use a level 1 charger that's just plugged into the garage because she doesn't need anything else than that. She doesn't drive more. Usually she does not drive more than the battery can do per day. So she just charges once at night if she even goes anywhere. So that's perfect. For me, I drive 50 miles a day. And the best method that I've seen so far is that I unplug in the morning, head to work. On the streets and stop and go, if I know there's going to be stop and go to the best of my ability, I use all electric. Don't touch the gas motor at all. Once I get on the highway to my cruising speed of like 65, 70, then I will hit the e-save button. And the e-save button will fire up the motor, but it will not engage the clutch. So there is no load on the engine, the gas engine yet. It's still driving fully electric, but at least the gas engine fires up, gets warmed up. So what I notice is that the transmission will shift into 7th gear. In electric mode, it usually only uses the speeds 1 through 6. So at that point, when I see that the Jeep shifts into 7th gear, auto 7th gear, you can then pull it into what's called manual hybrid blended mode, or manual mode. It's where you can slap the stick over to M, and at that point you will be manually shifting gears. Yeah, see, D7 is fully activated. Wait a second or two, slap it over to M7. It's already in 7th gear, and then manual 7. And then I push hybrid mode, and then pull the stick back to M8, or upshift to 8th gear. At that point, I'm getting about 40 miles to the gallon. The battery lasts double. So instead of getting the 24 or 25 miles of electric range, which is all these are really good for, which is standard for plug-in hybrids. In manual M8 mode, blended hybrid M8 mode, the battery lasts closer to 60 miles, and you're getting about 40 miles to the gallon while doing that. I only use this mode for about maybe 10 miles. Now, mind you, I live in Phoenix. I know direct injection engines have blah, 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 blah. But I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and cold temperatures is not really a thing. But 10 miles on the highway is more than enough time to hopefully alleviate and to delineate that oil dilution problem. Hopefully. Time will tell. So far, 7,500 miles, I have had no oil dilution that hasn't been able to be burned off. So anyway, after 10 miles or so of driving on the highway with blended mode, I will then switch over back to D At this point, it will be in D8. Switch it back over to electric mode. To make it easier for me, I don't always do this. If I want to count down the miles, 10 miles or whatever, like on the screen, you can see that the engine has been running for 10 miles via your information screen. And then boom, at 10 miles, I'll shut it off, slap it back into automatic D7 or D8, and then hit hybrid or hit electric mode. And at that point, now I'm driving full electric at 65, 70 miles an hour. I'm on my merry way. I have about 17 miles of highway driving, so 10 of that will be blended, and then of course 7 of that will be full electric. And at that point, once I get off the highway, I'm literally less than 2 miles away from my job. So with that, that's how I managed to get 1,500 to 2,000 miles on a tank of gas, 15 gallons of gas. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. 7,500 miles, and I've been to the gas station twice. So that's a far cry from going to the gas station every week, every single week, because so you can imagine. And it's not a stock Jeep at all. I have a winch and a winch bumper. I've got a small leveling kit. It's not really a lift per se. It's more of a leveling kit because I didn't like that front rake. And I'm running 33 and a half or 34s, 33 and 3/4, 34s. So it's stock rims. But yeah, so getting 40 miles to the gallon in a Jeep Wrangler, period. It doesn't matter what kind of tires you have, period. 40 miles to the gallon. And people, there are tons of people getting way better than that. Even better than that. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I have also been up to this. That's a 2006 Acura. Buddy of mine has had a rough go with, and it overheated. It needs a new radiator, a head gasket, a timing belt, and a water pump. So that's also currently what I'm working on right now. Fun. But yeah, these machines. That's my old bumper, by the way. This one is completely stock. This is my wife's Jeep, and we are leaving it completely stock for now. And it's very tempting because I already have spare parts. I mean, for crying out loud, I have 10 rims, 10 bare rims that fit the JLs that are for our off-road adventures. So we're gonna be doing some of that later. This channel is probably going to go through a revolution of some sort, because we're definitely going to be seeing a lot more of these Jeeps, both of them. Let me open the garage here and show you what mines look like. My beastie. That's Onyx, by the way. And my Jeep is named Obsidia, aka the Black Stallion. Don't laugh, she's dirty. And I already got a crack in the windshield, which, that's SOP for the Jeep Wrangler. It doesn't matter how far they rake that thing back, the windshield always gets hit. And there's my 400,000 mile Ram. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to. That's why I've been absent forever. And I'm excited to get back into it. I've got a few videos that I shot last year, probably even 2 years ago now, because I think some of them are from 2020. Anyway, I got some editing to do. I'm recording this on my phone, which is rare. I rarely use my phone because it overheats. So, yeah. And that's where we're at. So, I'm going to try to get things done, and we'll make something happen. Either way, that's what's going on. I appreciate anybody who is even still here to watch this. All my subscribers. What? The biggest thing, too. Here, let me close the garage door. The biggest thing, too, is money. Believe it or not, the amount of money that I allotted for my YouTube channel was running out very quickly. I'm not monetized by YouTube. Are you kidding me? I got like, yeah. So it was a difficult decision, but I had to switch things over. And of course we moved. You know, we got a new place, a severely massive place for really good deals. So things transitioned very quickly. I had to sell my RV, which sucked. We had to sell it because the HOA doesn't allow motorized motor coaches in the RV gate. It can only be a trailer. So that was different. But anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on, guys. I appreciate everybody who's still here watching this. All my subscribers, though few, you guys are mighty, right? Yes. Yes, you are. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm going to try to get this stuff knocked out, and I'll see you guys in a new video pretty soon. Hopefully. I'm going to start editing literally right now. So, that's all I got for you guys.